Look, we almost fucked up again.
What?
This is audio. This is what we go through every time.
Oh, because this is the headphone.
Every time. We go through this every fucking time. And every time you're like, no. And I'm like, yes.
We did it, everybody. We're back. Everyone.
The podcast is over. One time we had to do an entire podcast of just us adjusting the audio. And at the end, we're thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been Menty Breaky.
Yeah.
Watching us have a Menty Breaky.
Absolutely. Also, I'd like to address that I have a sty in this eye. And so normally this is my good side. And now it's my bad side.
I don't see the sty.
It's there. You can see if I close my eyes. There's a big bump. And it's painful.
Oh, I see it a bit.
That's why it's like a bit. I look a bit like I'm like drugged up.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's just, well, people keep saying they can't see it. And then I'll see a picture of myself and I'm like, my eyes like swollen shut. And like, I'll be like in a picture and I'm like, is everyone just being nice to me? But you really don't see it?
No.
Okay.
I would have never noticed it unless back to episode 1 where we talked about our insecurities.
Welcome to Epitenny.
Welcome to Epitenny. That was the right hotkey.
Very good.
I'd also like to state that I read online that most podcasts, I think it was like 80% of podcasts don't make it past 8 episodes.
Wow.
So we made it past 8 episodes.
We did it.
We did it. We just wanted to break the stats and now we're done, everybody. Just kidding.
It's a joke.
We made it.
We did it. I'm not dead. Did you think I was dead?
Hannah's not dead.
Did you think Monica killed me? Did you get any feedback saying, where's the body? Where did you bury Hannah?
No feedback saying where's the body, where'd you bury Hannah?
No one gives a shit.
No, I was just like, is everyone gonna fucking hate me and think that we're in a fight?
You.
Yeah. And then I said in the episode, nobody contact TMZ.
Yeah, I like that.
There's no drama.
Yeah.
Hannah and I are best friends, so go fuck yourselves if you were
stop trying to create drama with Stop calling TMZ, guys. We said not to.
We said not to call TMZ, and now I'm like all over the Daily Mail, and I'm like, guys, like, please.
You and Kate Middleton. You're like, oh my God.
I brought up Kate Middleton too.
I know. I was annoyed. I was like, pretty sure that's my obsession. You're like, I don't care about Kate Middleton. I'm like, well, one of us who's not on the pod right now does. You can't address things that I care about and be like, this topic sucks when I'm not there to defend the topic.
I love that you're listening to the podcast.
Well, I was like, really? She's talking about Kate Middleton on the week that I'm not there. I was like, okay.
Would you like to talk about Kate Middleton?
I do a little bit, actually. Actually, Monica, yes, I would. Thank you for bringing it up.
Talk about Kate Middleton, girl. Get it on.
Okay, so Kate Middleton has been... It's the saddest ending to the story.
Is. That's why I didn't say the ending.
We found her and she has cancer.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh. It was like, of course that's what it was. Because everyone's like, cheating. She's anorexic. Prince William's beating her. And then she's like, no, I just have cancer and I didn't want my kids to know. And we're like... Right.
We're like, right.
Oh, right. You're a human being.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
I felt bad because it popped up on my Instagram, of course. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, this sucks. This is sad.
It honestly was really sad. Are you obsessed with Kate Middleton?
No, but it's like I've always liked the royals and stuff like that. It's fun to follow along. I watched both of the weddings live.
Right.
Like one was at like fucking 5 a.m. or whatever.
Oh.
William and Kate's was really early.
Right. Your Roman Empire was the Russian royals.
Yes. And then the other one I watched live, but it was at a reasonable hour because I was in Amsterdam. So it was like an hour difference. So that one was nice. But I woke up and I watched it with my ex's mom. We watched it and she'll still like message me on their anniversary and be like, remember when we watched this together? A lot of my ex's moms still talk to me.
Yeah.
So who's the problem? Bitch.
Who's the problem? Not us.
Not me. I'm a green flag, baby.
Yeah, I think of, it wasn't my ex's mom, but like a guy that I was obsessed with who didn't like me back's mom, who like we really got along. And I'm like, I miss her.
Yeah.
I miss like the family members, the dogs, like the whole thing.
I try and set a boundary with their moms though, because a lot of them... they would be like messaging me being like, I still believe you guys will get back together.
Oh, geez.
I know. And I'm like, this is actually really painful for me to read.
Yeah, this doesn't help.
And P.S. your son's a psychopath. Like, You feel free to still love him, but I don't.
I know. I remember when I was trying to get over my ex and I downloaded the Calm app, like the meditation app, and I did this like grief meditation.
And it helped?
So I thought that I was going to be grieving the loss of my ex.
Right.
And I ended up throughout this meditation actually having to grieve his dog.
Oh,
I didn't even grieve him. I just like, I cried, like I released my emotions over the dog.
Okay. Love that.
And then I was like, oh, I actually don't really give a fuck.
Miley Cyrus. That's why she cried in Wrecking Ball.
Moms know that their sons are fuckboys. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's difficult for them.
Like, because I think so. But then I think, like, there must be something there. Like, why are they a fuckboy?
Right.
There must be a little dynamic there that created it.
Right.
So.
But those moms love us.
Here is my thing that I've had with exes and their moms and them being like psychopaths and the moms loving me. Usually they have a poor relationship with their mom and they don't respect their mom. So it's like, I think she's trying her best, but they must have somehow learned the behavior of not respecting her. And then she sees me and she's like, you're me. And I'm like,
right.
Your son doesn't respect either of us.
Yeah, that's actually really true.
Yeah. A lot of you were asking if me and Monica were going to apply for
Love is Blind
because we love it so much.
Well, I think a lot of people were asking like comics and entertainers and whatever in general.
But people were specifically asking me about us.
Yeah. Okay.
So me, not so much. I'm in a relationship happily. So I figure I don't want to be, what was his name?
Oh, Trevor.
I don't want to be a Trevor.
Yeah. Hannah doesn't want to be a Trevor and we don't want Hannah to be a Trevor.
So I will not be applying. And then I was like, Monica, you should. And she was like, can you fuck yourself?
No, Hannah asked me if I was applying for Love is Blind, and I was like, no. And she was like, why not? And I was like, because love is not blind.
Yeah, if anything we have learned, love is not blind.
Well, every single season, they're like, we're back to test the theory. Is love blind? And every single season, I'm like, once again, no.
Once again.
Also, they don't put everyone on the show is like objectively like a 4 to an 8.
I wonder about that, right? Because sometimes we'll get people who are like teetering on a 9.
Teetering.
And then you're like, well, this is clearly the stunner of the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then also people do seem pretty matched up, right?
Yes.
On their looks. I'm like, are producers whispering in people's ears, like, you should probably go for this one? Do you think that happens? Because I really wonder that.
This is what I heard, which was actually really sad, is that
no,
you know how Chelsea said that she looked like Megan Fox?
Yeah.
She was saying that like everyone says shit like that. Like,
right.
Everyone is like, I look like this, I look like that. It's just everything is cut. So it's like, I feel like they probably have more of an idea.
I really figured because like when the one guy was like, could I lift you on my shoulders at a thing? And the girls were like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, what I think, one of the things that they don't really cut is I'm really active.
Right.
That's what they say. I'm really active. But then some girls do go to the gym and they're just bigger. Yeah. It's like, then what?
But it's like, love is not blind because every season, the people that get matched up, I'm like, if you met at a bar, I would be like, yeah, you're like, there's nothing that where I'm like, like, there's no couple where I'm like, if you met in person, there's no way you guys would have.
It never happens.
Yeah.
It's always the people that last are the ones that's like, you're the same number.
You're the same number on like an objective
exactly.
scale.
So it's like love is not blind. But I still think it would be so funny if I would be
really scared to have a bad edit.
But you'd be so funny.
But like, I would be like, I actually kind of like don't want to get married.
That would be funny. If you went on, you're like, I'm actively not looking for love.
I just like, well, I would have to fake it, right? So I would go on the show and be like, yeah, I'm looking for marriage and I think that love is blind. Blah, 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 blah. And then I'd kind of like, I'd probably become the villain because I don't actually feel that way.
Remember that one girl that was the villain?
Which girl was the villain?
She like matched up with that one nerdy guy and then she like hated him.
Oh yeah, that was
he went
so
back
bad.
To the other girl.
Bliss, yeah, and Zach.
Bliss and Zach were the ones that ended up together.
That was a horrible. I forget the other girl's name.
Bad.
Yeah,
you don't want to be her.
I don't want to, and I would.
Yeah, you would get that edit.
I would just be that girl.
And she loved lying around too. She was a big napper.
She was a big napper.
I remember.
I would fall asleep in the pod 100%. I would, and they would be
all
like
of your
showing
edits
me.
would just be you under a blanket in the pod.
And then like they would show the guy that I was talking to like delving into his like family trauma, and I'd be like passed out on the couch.
Sure. I would love to watch that.
That honestly would be fun. Maybe I'll apply.
You should apply.
But also, I would never be dumb enough to be like, I don't care what he looks like, whatever he looks like that girl with Zach. And then like they like meet and she's like, fuck you.
Yeah, she's like, I hate you, you're ugly. Which is like exactly like what you said. Like the people that get matched up, it's like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
this is who should be matched up.
Yeah,
and that's why you stayed together.
So Love is Not Blind.
No.
Nick and Vanessa Lachey fucking fight me.
Yeah.
I'll go.
They won't. They're so boring.
They're awful.
They'd be like, okay, that's a nice opinion, Monica.
No, they'd be like, Monica, you really don't think Love is Blind? Like, you know, at the reunion when they're like, you were doing this for publicity. It's like, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
No fucking shit.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
you can talk about your next topic and I'll pretend to be interested.
Okay, so our next topic is Vanderpump Rules.
Oh my God.
For everyone that's not interested in Vanderpump Rules, such as Hannah, here's the interesting thing. Mm-hmm. People have such strong opinions. That's what I find interesting. Like, it's not just like we're all watching a show and being like, oh yeah, I kind of like this person, I kind of don't like this person. It's like we're all so emotionally invested. And it's like where you take a stand, it like says something. It's like politics almost. So basically, you know, Ariana got cheated on in her 10-year relationship. So now her best friend Sheena is like, yeah, it's been really hard for me. He's been really hard for me.
I saw that. We know people like this.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I want to say.
You don't have to say a lot, but what I will say is like we know people like this because we're comics and we're insane.
Yeah, like we just know like narcissists that when like anything happens in their world, like something really bad happens, they're like they just like go on stage and they're like, isn't this so crazy that this bad thing happened to someone I know? And we're like, well, wouldn't that be their story to tell?
Yeah. So basically like Sheena, who's supposed to be Ariana's best friend, is like, I just really miss Tom. Like, we were really good friends. And Ariana's like, well, if you want to be friends with him, that's fine. But I won't be friends with you because my boundary is anyone who is like friends with him, I won't be friends with.
Of course.
And she's like, but what about in like 10 years? If like I've just seen that he changes and blah, 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 like, would you be okay with it? And Ariana's like, well, obviously you want to fucking be friends with him again.
Okay, so I have a story where it's like I know people who someone got cheated on.
Okay.
But they were all like it's two sisters. The one sister is married for many years, got cheated on. The other sister has to stop talking to her husband. They have kids together, but everyone was friends before they even started dating. Like technically the husband was like the sister's friend first. Would she have to then cut him out? That's tough, eh? Because he's not only a brother-in-law, but he's been a friend longer than he's been a brother-in-law.
I would kind of say yeah. Or
she did.
Well,
guess what? A sister's bond is stronger.
Yeah.
But it was like a little difficult because she was
course.
still mourning the loss of her friend.
But it's difficult. But
Yeah.
it's like the last person you go to be like, this is difficult for me is your sister.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to go to your sister and be like, hey, like your cheating husband has been like, it's been really hard on me.
That's true.
Because he was in my life for a long time. Like,
That's
the
insane.
fuck do you want from me?
That's insane. Yeah. For her to be like, oh my God, okay, go.
Yeah.
Like that is insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was more like, yeah, she was just like confiding, like,
Yeah,
like he was my friend longer than he's been her husband.
Yeah.
So it just sucks.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, you can't be like, okay, we're besties.
Yeah.
Still. Okay, great Vanderpump Rules.
One
drama.
more thing, and then Ariana got Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, good for her.
And then Sheena was like, it's just really hard for me because I wanted Dancing with the Stars.
Who is? I don't even know who the fuck this other girl is.
Okay, Sheena's the one who like was supposed to be the star of the show, but she's so dull and she's not dull, but she's so like has no backbone and no one likes her that she's been trying to be the star of the show since season 1 because it was her show. And everyone's like, we actually don't like you.
Interesting.
But like, imagine like having a friend and they're like, yeah, it's just like, I really wanted that. And like, I get
Yeah.
that. I mean, I get being envious of your friends, but you kind of have to just like suck it up and be like, yeah, but I'm also just like happy for you.
Yeah. And then like you can't make your moment how tough it is to not get Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. She's like, it was just really hard for me. And Ariana's like, okay, well, why don't you go like... Ariana was being like nice. And I was like, this is wild.
Well, it's also just like, yeah, Ariana just had a really shit year. So like, let's just let her have Dancing with the Stars, you know?
Remember when Hannah said she wasn't into their Vanderpump Rules?
I'm trying.
And now it's a passionate topic, honestly. Guys, we have 3 stories. Our Menty Breaky Queens are really pulling through right now.
Yeah. Thank you so much to all the Menty Breaky Queens around the world for a standing oh my god.
Yeah.
For continuing to have mental breakdowns.
We really appreciate it.
So of this, one of them I want to be our Menty Breaky Queen, and then the others I'll do as the pathetic things.
Okay, so we're actually going to go back to a segment now that we missed for a few weeks.
Yeah, and it's what like pathetic things you've done for a man. But wait, there's a twist.
There's a twist, you guys. There's a twist.
I fucked up. There's a twist. This time it's pathetic things men are doing for women. Because you know what? We're an equal opportunity podcast. And if you're a man doing something super pathetic for a woman, we applaud you.
We applaud you, and we'd love to hear your stories, because men can be Menty Breaky Queens too.
Men can be pathetic Menty Breaky Queens.
Anyone can be a
Menty Breaky Queen. Anyone can be pathetic.
Anyone can be pathetic. We're all accepting.
Yeah. For sure. So our first man, I was like, give me something pathetic you've done for a woman. You know, this is a friend of mine. I'm like, give me a pathetic story. And the story he tells me is about how one time he ripped his dick open during sex with a girl and there was blood everywhere and he had to go to the ER. I'm like, oh, you have no idea what a pathetic thing is.
Yeah, that's not pathetic.
That's not pathetic. That's just a medical emergency. And he's like, one time I was getting laid and I ended up in the ER. I'm like, well, make your girlfriend wet, first of all.
I wonder if he was saying it in a way of like, my dick's so big. No, actually no, because
my girlfriend's vagina is so tight, my dick ripped off.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like that would be like my dick's so big that her vagina started bleeding, but his dick started bleeding.
Her vagina just like shred. She has sandpaper and it just shredded his dick. Either way, not a pathetic thing.
Not a pathetic thing. Just
whatsoever.
Just like make the girl wet and do better when submitting to Menty Breaky.
Yeah, but then he came back with a good one. Because I was like, fuck you, this isn't pathetic.
Yeah, do better.
So then one time he said, I took a girl to dinner and a concert, but he had to leave early and she fucked his friend, which already is like, that sucks. But then he said he still hung out with her the next day and they cuddled and did not have sex, which is brutal.
I'd also like to point out, I think you told me this, that he knew that his friend...
I think he must have known.
Yeah.
Like I think he must have known, because like he's submitting it for pathetic thing. Like it's not pathetic if you don't know. That's just someone who's like, I guess, cheating on you. But I think he was aware that she fucked his friend, and he's like, I'll still hang out for cuddles.
And then he couldn't even, he couldn't even fuck her after he's the one that took her on the date.
And honestly, just good job on being pathetic. Thank you, men, for being pathetic.
That's wild. Do you want to hear a story?
Go on.
About that? Okay, so I was actually in New Zealand. I planned a date with this guy, and we met at like a pool hall or something, like where people play pool. And he brought his friend. And he was like, yeah, like, is it okay if like my friend like hangs out with us too or something? And I was like, okay, like whatever. His friend seemed cool, he seemed cool, and then like I started kind of like hitting it off with his friend. And then the guy that I was on a date with went to the bathroom, and I was talking to his friend, and I somehow brought up that like this was a date between like me and the other guy. And this guy freaked out. He's like, what? Would you talk? I didn't know. Like, I thought you guys were like just friends or like something like that. This guy that I was going on a date with did not tell the other guy. They're like, we met on the fucking apps.
Yeah. That's really weird.
I'm like, what? I'm like, you just thought that like I was friends with this guy?
Yeah, like that's probably how he said it. Like, oh, come hang out with me and my friend.
Yeah. And then like,
what was the guy's plan with that?
Anyways, the guy comes back from the bathroom. I'm chill. Like, I'm fine with it. But his friend is like losing his mind, like upset. And then he's like, oh, and he looks at me like kind of like, why did you tell him? And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, I met you on Hinge.
Yeah.
I thought this was a date.
We have like, yeah,
I don't know you.
Why did you do this?
Why did you do this? And so I was into the friend, and the friend I felt like was into me, but now the friend is like pissed and thinks that like I'm into the other guy because I'm on a date with him.
Yeah.
And then we spent literally like the whole night together. Like we didn't like
the three of you?
Yeah, like we just hung out. Like
God.
we literally just hung out.
Yeah.
They actually introduced me to Doja Cat. It was like back in the day.
Okay.
And I was like trying to like show the friend that I was like into him.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also didn't want to be rude to the guy that I was like on a date with, even though like no one knew what was going on. Anyways, then they like left or whatever. And then the next day, the guy I was on a date with, he like messages me. He's like, I had so much fun. Like I had a really good time. And he goes, I couldn't tell if you were into me or not. Like you're really hard to read. And I couldn't be like,
I was into your friend.
yeah.
Well, like, don't bring someone on a date who potentially your date could fall in love with.
Maybe that's
like,
a tip to the
insane.
men. I think these men don't realize like, hey,
yeah,
maybe like I shouldn't bring like another suitor.
Yeah, who's
to
like
the date.
as good as me or better.
Yeah, and then he was like trying really hard to go out with me again. I was like, I'm sorry, like
no
I'm not
thanks.
from here.
I've had this once where I was hanging out with a group of people and I could tell I was there with a friend who I was just like, we were truly just friends. I could tell he wanted me to hook up with a specific person, was even like introducing me to him, being like, he's the best. I was like, I fucking no interest in this guy. And there's just some other guy in the group that was like, hell yeah. And then I immediately was just like, my intentions, like, because I could give a fuck if you want me to. And then at one point, he just like, we were like with the whole group and he just like turned around. He's like, do you want to leave? I was like, yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't, like, I have no allegiance to the rest of
like,
this
I don't
group.
need to give you a chance.
I know, exactly. I'm like, sorry, but, and I could tell like my friend and the other guy were like upset, but I'm like,
yeah,
okay, it's 2000 whatever. I'm not going to be bought and sold by you guys.
By you. No, it was so weird because now this date became a love triangle.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
that's
guy
what
liked
this
me.
kind of turned into.
Yeah.
Except the one guy thankfully wasn't really close with the other two. He's like,
Right.
I don't care. He's like, let's go have our own date.
Yeah.
I was like, yep.
Yeah, I was like on a date and he brought his friend and he liked me and then I liked his friend and I'm like, maybe, as we've said, if you're a guy, maybe just like don't bring your guy friends on your dates, especially if they're a first date.
I guess that's what to our friend, poor guy.
It's funny how like his dick bled.
And he's like, isn't that
and
so
then
embarrassing? We're like, no. And
we're
he's
like, do
this
better.
Girl, and then he did better. And we're like, ha ha.
And we're like, wow.
Okay, but we have another pathetic story from another friend.
Yes.
That this one, no, this is another boy one.
Okay.
This is from a comic, Ben Albert, if you give a shit. Okay, so he...
Are you allowed to name drop him?
It's fine.
Okay.
Yes, this one I can name drop.
Okay.
Ben Albert, you're so pathetic. No. So what happened is... he was into a girl who I don't know if she had a boyfriend or she was seeing another guy.
Okay.
And then they both like found out about each other. They were both like sleeping with this girl, I think. And then I think they were like, they found out about each other and they're like, you have to choose one of us. So she brought them to a field and had them stand on either side of the field. And was like, I'm going to choose one of you. This was in a high school, I think.
Actually.
Can you imagine Ben doing this, though? He would. He's such a puppy dog. And so he,
This is like number one, that girl goals. Goals. Oh, I want to be that girl.
She got two guys to drive to a field. They all drove in the car together, by the way.
No.
They drove in the car together.
This girl should
to a field.
teach classes.
Yeah, and then so she had them stand at opposite ends of the field, and she's like, I'm gonna do, it's like a gender reveal, but she was gonna reveal who she would, I guess, continue sleeping with.
I'd like to point out that you did not tell me this story ahead of time, and I'm so happy. This is the best thing I've ever heard.
So she was with the other guy first, but then Ben started, I think, sleeping with her. And so she drove them all. Three of them drove together in a car to the field. They stood on opposite ends of the field, and she chose Ben. And the other guy got drunk and threw a fit, which is just like, at that point, accept the loss.
I want to be this girl. I want to do that.
How awkward is that car ride there and back?
And back. And back. It's not done. It's like, oh, we all have to carpool back home because we're in high school now. Wait.
I love it.
Did she make them like do anything on the field, like duel it out, like battle, or they just stood there?
I think it was just supposed to be a dramatic moment.
That is actually.
But it's also, he's from a very small town, and that's such like small town shit. Because you're like, well, we have nothing else on a Friday night, so we may as well
duel.
Yeah, literally old-fashioned duel for this girl. I think he told me they were both like drinking, like it was so dramatic, like they were like, swinging whiskey or something.
It's funny because like you would think, okay, they were in high school, whatever, but even though they were in high school, that's such a good fucking story.
Because one time I just asked him, I was like, what's the most pathetic thing you've ever done for a girl? And he told me this story, and I just died. I was like, why would you both agree to this?
Thank you, Ben Albert.
Yeah, thank you, Ben Albert. Go check out his comedy
at Ben Albert. Ask him to retell that story. Hire him.
It's so funny to...
No, it's
because I was like,
funny.
Why would you both agree to this? And he's like, we both wanted to keep sleeping with her. It's so funny.
It's funny because...
They both wanted to date her.
Do you think they both wanted to date her, or they both just wanted to like sleep with her?
Well, I think it's like, again, small town problems.
Right.
Like sometimes there only is one girl to date. So you have to go to a field and fight for her.
I know.
Sometimes when you live in a small town, the ratio is not good.
I want to live in a small town.
And there'll be like 5 guys fighting over one girl. So
and
sometimes you have to duel it out in a field to get a girl to date you.
Where's he from? I want to go there. I want to make men duel.
Yeah. Where is he from?
But then if they dueled, I'd be like, you like me too much. I'd find the man that like would refuse to duel.
The guy's like, I'm not going to a field. You're like, we have a winner. Yeah. Okay. So those were our pathetic men. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we wanted to switch it up. We wanted to have some men in our pathetic roster. And I think men have proven this week that they too.
Yeah. And if you're
pathetic.
a girl, just hang in there. There's a guy out there that's gonna be pathetic for you.
Yeah, you'll find him.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our Menty Breaky Queen, because again, I asked for submissions.
Yes.
And we got some people with some stories. Our Menty Breaky Queen of the week is a listener, and she dated a guy who, when they were dating, he would make her pull up the Apple location log, and they would go through each of her locations one at a time and tell him where she was and who she was with and like what she was doing there.
Yeah.
And then one time when she was in class, like with her friends, he made her in class take a picture with a peace sign beside the clock with the current time to show her that she was in class, because he was on the road and he saw a car that looked like hers.
That's wild.
It was just...
See, I don't think
so bad.
I don't think I've ever dated a guy like that. If anything, I've been more like that in the relationship.
Oh no!
But not to that level.
Not to, I saw a car like yours, take a picture with a peace sign next to the clock.
But I feel like I'm more like the where were you type versus like the. But I think I've kind of been both, honestly. But I would never ask.
Definitely would get myself more into the situations of someone being too
possessive.
But one time with someone was cheating,
Right.
and I like glanced over and I was like, what's that? I saw like an email. And I was
Right.
like, well, what's that email? And they freaked out, and they're like, they freaked out because it was an email where they were cheating. And it was like, they like spun it on me, and it's like, you're so nosy, how dare you, don't going through my stuff, I'm changing all my passwords because I like had the password, I'm changing this. I was like, oh, and I felt like, so I was like, oh my god, like I truly felt horrible.
Here's
and then
the
like
thing.
later found out
They were
they were
cheating.
cheating, and that was like an email that I shouldn't see. Like I was so like gaslit in that moment, felt so bad about myself, and I thought I was the person being like, take a picture with the peace sign,
Right.
And I was like, oh, am I I'm smothering this person.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm too nosy.
Yeah.
It's always
Yes.
when someone is doing
Yes.
that, a projection.
It's a projection always. Like I had a friend who like her boyfriend was so possessive. Like he'd be like, why did you, like, where'd you go this night? What's this? What's that? Like always freaking out at her. And she was like, why are you freaking out? And it ended up being he was the one that was cheating, because it's like they're doing it. So they like think you're doing it, and they see how they do it, and they want to catch you doing it.
For sure. To be like, see?
Whereas if you're not doing it, you're
their
like,
guilt. It's their own guilt. So that guy, Mr. Peace Sign, probably cheating.
Yeah, probably cheating.
If he just sees a car that looks like hers and he's like, send me a fucking picture of you next to a clock.
Yeah.
It's because he was probably on his way to some girl's house.
Probably. He's probably on his way to
Yeah.
some girl's house, and then that girl would have found out about the other girl, and they'd have to duel.
It would end in a duel. A classic duel. Classic small town field duel.
I just want I just want to invite like 2 Hinge guys, like 2 dating app guys, and be like, duel. Duel it out.
We're doing a car ride to a field. Hop in.
Hop in.
Hop in, loser. We're going dueling. The 2 guys. Monica pulls up. And they're like, okay. I love it.
That's the name of the episode.
Hop in, loser. We're going dueling. Yes.
That was so good, Hannah.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, hotkeys.
All the hotkeys.
Yeah. You won all the hotkeys
You
on
won.
that joke.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine you're in a relationship with a guy and he finds out that you're cheating on him, and then he's like, well, what now? And you're like, hop in, loser, we're going dueling.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, get in the fucking car.
Yeah. Do you want this or not?
Do you want to keep having sex
like,
or not?
Fine. Okay.
Wow. Thank you, Ben Albert.
Thank you, Ben Albert. Thanks for being pathetic.
Thanks for being pathetic.
We really appreciate
We
that.
appreciate men being pathetic. And cheers to our queens. Please write in. Send us your stories, even if you're not a woman. Identifying woman. But if you are an identifying woman, you can
if you're
also.
just an identifying pathetic person,
Yeah. We'd love to hear from you.
chime in.
Yeah. So have a great week.
You're one of us.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, this was good.
High five on mine, on my video, and then I'll high five on yours.
Further. Oh, there you go. Okay. Bye. We
Okay,
love you.
bye.
XO.